So this morning I saw a shooting star, and shooting star equals love plus love OST at the center of history. Too obvious. It's got two O's, two S's, and two T's, which is the famous three letters at the center of history, which equals love perfectly. So let's get it on the board. Doing my newspaper route perfectly, gorgeous, starry night, actually it's in the morning, and a huge, strong white shooting star, boom, and I got the word instantly in my mind, shooting star, divides by 3, but the best part is the way you find love, which is what God leads us to find in all the words and phrases that we solve. And names, love, 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 because God is love. And there's a gorgeous crescent moon this morning. Crescent moon divides by 3, just like full moon, just like half moon, just like new moon. So we're going to get these on the board for the glory of God. We have preached on all this, Hawaii, and all these famous words. We're going to erase it. It's a brand new day. We'll just grab ourselves any piece of real estate here in the middle. And so, can you find love in a shooting star? Now, shooting stars were caused by the flood of Noah. They were the rocks that were blasted from the fountains of the great deep when the earth ruptured. And read the book by Walt Brown, In the Beginning, Compelling Evidence for Creation and the Flood. It's online free at creationscience.com to understand exactly what shooting stars are and where they came from, and why it is that cultures in history regard shooting stars as an omen of death, because there were no shooting stars before the flood of Noah. The epic flood that wiped out most of the Earth's population caused those rocks from the great deep to be blasted into outer space, become the shooting stars that were seen by mankind after that. And whenever they saw the shooting stars after that, they were reminded of the great flood that wiped out most of the population. And so that's why worldwide cultures throughout history have recognized shooting stars as omens of death. But really they are reminders of the truth of what happened to the glory of God. So shooting star by Divine Ordinance. Check out the love in shooting star. OST, at the center of history. So I must put the word history on the board just as a reminder that you find love in everything. So STO equals 54, which equals love, is at the center of history, and that gets flanked by half a love, IR 27, that gets flanked by 33, Amen. But STO is an exceptionally famous trio that makes love, okay? All through the English language, all through all the Latin languages. You can open your dictionary simply, or use a computer program to find all the STOs in all the words and phrases of history, and you'll be stunned by the fame of it. But shooting star, it's really obvious because you've got a pair of them. You've got an S here, and an O here, and a T here. And then you've got another S and a T and an O. S right here, T right here, O right here. They are the only letters that are repeated in the divine phrase shooting star. 2 S's, 2 O's, 2 T's. That's exactly the STO, which equals love at the center of history. So we've already found love plus love in shooting star. Wow. And it's dramatic. And then you're left with another half a love. Look, you've got the IR, which are the half a love in history right here. 9 plus 18 is 27, half a love. You've got them sitting right here. Okay, so we have another half a love, just like in history, no less. And the I and the R are obviously also at the center of Christ. Love is at the center of the letters Christ, C-H-R-I-S-T. R-I, half a love in the center, flanked with S-H, 27, another half a love. Okay, so that's very obvious. And then what do you have left over? You've got an H, you've got a pair of 15s. An H and a G makes 15 number 1. And then an N and an A makes 15 number 2. And these are very obvious 15s because they are the extreme cases of how to make 15 from the sum of two numbers. The first, H plus G, is 8 plus 7. The two central numbers, the closest value numbers to make 15. 8 plus 7 or 7 plus 8. And then the other two are N plus A, which is 14 plus 1. Okay, the two most extreme numbers that you can add together, apart from 15 and 0, of course, the most extreme two non-zero numbers that can make 15. So 14 plus 1 equals 15, and then 7 plus 8 equals 15. Too divine, too obvious for the number 15. And so you have love plus half a love plus 15 in shooting star to the glory of the Triune God. It's maximum. It's always maximum. And of course that all begins with the famous SH, 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 which is 27. 3 times 3 times 3. Half a love right there. So, very, very cool. Totally divine. I love that. STO, STO in shooting star. And that's why this happened this morning. I'm delivering my newspapers. I use a bike to do part of it. I use the car and run and all the rest of it. And just as I'm biking down into a cul-de-sac, a stark, brilliant, thick white shooting star, very stark, just streaking down across the sky over the houses. It just took my breath away, and shooting star immediately pops in my mind. It divides by 3, and then over time I just get this revelation by the Holy Ghost that it's got a pair of STOs, which is the love at the center of history. That's too obvious. This is very special. An awesome revelation. It's 5:35 a.m. August 10th, 2015, for historic purposes in Langley, British Columbia, Canada. The shooting star has been solved in the name of love. And so what does all this come to? This is love plus half a love, 135, which itself is pure 15s. That's 3 times 3 times 15, 9 15s. And then we add another 2 15s on top of that. Talk about a king for 3 to make 165, okay? Which divides by 15, of course. 15 times 11. And both 15 and 11 glorify the number 3. We've talked about that a million times. 11 is the 5th prime, which is the term of the 3rd prime. So there you go, shooting star for the glory of the Trinity in the name of love. Too obvious. And so, we've just taken the glory for every single shooting star in the history of the universe for the glory of Jehovah, God the Father, Jesus Christ the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Now, what are shooting stars? I just mentioned it. I have to plug in this video camera because it's recording that I have a certain amount of battery left, and it needs to be plugged in, so we'll do that here, and then we can go forever. Wait for it. It'll shift a bit because it's just kind of thrown on the top here. And that's good. Ooh. That's fine. What are shooting stars? Well, they are rocks that were blasted. If you want the best explanation, go to creationscience.com and read the online book free. Better yet, order the book. It's one of the best textbooks you'll ever read. And it is called In the Beginning, Compelling Evidence for Creation and the Flood by Dr. Walt Brown. And shooting stars are rocks that were blasted from the earth when the fountains of the great deep exploded and the earth's crust was ruptured and the waters exploded from beneath the earth's surface and literally launched rocks out of the earth's orbit, and they became the asteroid belt and all the shooting stars that we see today. And that is why shooting stars are regarded as omens of death in world cultures throughout history, because whenever they saw the shooting stars after the flood, it reminded them of the flood. They knew that those shooting stars did not exist before their flood. You know, their ancestors didn't see that. But after the flood, they were seeing shooting stars galore. And so it was always a reminder, say that these things, it's like, began after the flood. And so get the truth for yourself. It's the best book I've ever written outside the Bible. Creationscience.com. The book is called In the Beginning, Compelling Evidence for Creation and the Flood by Dr. Walt Brown. Just a quick, just to diagram it quickly, this is so important. This is one of the most important books I would get any educated person to read from start to finish and have them vigorously tested on. Because it explains everything on this planet, why it looks the way it does physically. So just to, draw a quick diagram. And it's totally divine. Just recently, NASA has released new images of the far side of the moon. And I know it was by Divine Ordinance that it was actually on the front page of the Vancouver Sun, the very photographs. And that newspaper I deliver in the morning, and I saw it on the front page. NASA releases new photos of the far side of the moon. And if you look at the photos of the far side of the moon, there are no craters, except for one on the far side of the moon. It is perfectly flush, the way God originally created the moon. Okay? The other side of the moon that always faces the earth is pummeled with craters. Those craters became that way because of the rocks that were blasted from the earth when the fountains of the great deep exploded in the flood of Noah. And that is why the side of the moon that always faces Earth is peppered with craters. It's just like it received bullet fire from the Earth, from the rocks that were blasted from the fountains of the great deep. But the far side of the moon, which by God's ordinance has been protected, it's always been facing away from the Earth, doesn't have any craters at all. So remember, except for one, which could have easily been caused by, read the book, you'll get the explanation from Dr. Walt Brown. It's perfect. He was ordained by God to bring these revelations to the world. But when Adam and Eve, and anyone before the flood, looked up at the moon in the night sky, they saw a perfect white snowball, just like a cue ball on a pool table, perfectly snow white, no craters, not a single one, because God did not create blemish in the Garden of Eden. There was nothing imperfect. There was no scars. There was nothing imperfect. The moon was a perfect sphere, a perfect craterless, glowing white snowball in the sky, day and night. It was only after the flood of Noah, and the rocks from the fountains of the great deep, the rocks from the crust of the earth were blasted out of the orbit of planet Earth by the power of the explosion of the pressure of the fountains of the great deep, launched them, and they escaped Earth's gravity, continued sailing towards the moon, and pummeled the moon. And they made huge craters in the moon's surface on the side of the moon facing Earth, obviously. And then that's why we have the craters of the moon. And that's why every day since the flood of Noah, mankind looked up at a moon that was no longer perfect. And yet now, just now, NASA is releasing new images of the far side of the moon, you know, the dark side of the moon. That using cameras reveals that it is basically untouched. It is basically the way God made the entire moon, okay, with no craters, no blemishes. And so, simple diagram here. Here's planet Earth. Here's the moon. Obviously, this is not to scale. Like Earth would be way larger, you know, half the Earth like that. Here's the moon. When the fountains of the great deep exploded, okay, there was no rain before the flood. No rain. There were no clouds. No clouds. Not a single cloud. Okay. Everything was watered as a mist from beneath the Earth's surface. It's fascinating to read that book. And that's also why there was no talk of rainbows until after the flood happened, when God says, this is why you're going to see rainbows in the skies, because now you're going to have clouds over you, but when they start dumping rain on you, don't freak out. It's not the flood going to happen again. You're going to see rainbows and all this. Anyways. But the fountains of the great deep exploded, okay, blasted rocks outside of the Earth's orbit, and they literally pummeled the moon like machine gun fire. They literally just hammered the moon with craters all over the side of the moon that always faces the Earth. I find it completely divine and very merciful of God, and for His glory, that He has ordained the moon to always be facing us in one direction, so that at this point in history, there's one side of the moon that is pummeled with the craters, that is a reminder of what happened in the flood of Noah. Okay? And yet the other side of the moon, over here, that NASA is releasing new images from, is perfectly smooth. It's untouched. There's no meteors, because the rocks came from Earth and pummeled the Earth, and the floodwaters were torrential rains. Just torrents of water, massive torrents of rains that came showering down and covered the whole Earth. But the rocks were blasted there, hit the moon, and many of them, of the right size and velocity, became asteroids and the meteor showers, and they are, to this day, all the shooting stars that we see whenever we see them flying through the sky. They are literally rocks that came from our home planet, that were launched in the explosion of the fountains of the great deep in the flood of Noah. I tell you, there's no greater textbook for you to give to your children and for you to read yourself this weekend, tonight, today. You can read it online, but you must order a physical copy because it's a gorgeous book. It's so perfectly laid out with gorgeous full-color images and outstanding explanation, and it's worded for anyone to read, and it's the best book I ever read outside the Bible. Order it online today. You can start reading it for free online at creationscience.com. Dr. Walt Brown, In the Beginning, Compelling Evidence for Creation and the Flood. I believe it's in its 9th edition now. And it's his calling. His full-time job is traveling the world, telling people about this and sharing his findings. Okay, that's what he does. He gives talks on this subject everywhere he goes. And but that is what the shooting stars are. They are rocks that came from this home planet that were blasted out of the Earth's gravity by the fountains of the great deep when they exploded in the epic flood of Noah. But how amazing that God works all things together for His glory, and we just saw a shooting star in the name of love to the glory of the Trinity, the very letters that He has been sovereign over from the dawn of time. Shooting star. Okay? And to the point where it's crazy. Like we have the Perseid, whatever they call the meteor showers that are at regular intervals. Comets are the same thing. Comets, whether you call it a comet or a shooting star or an asteroid or a meteoroid, it's all from the same origin. They are all rocks from planet Earth that were blasted out of this planet when the fountains of the great deep exploded in the rupture of the Earth's crust and sent them heavenwards. And of course, all the findings and scientists that are retrieving samples from these items and studying them are like, yep, it's the same rock that we have on our home planet. Well, how did it get there in the universe? Well, God tells us how it gets there. And if you read that book by Dr. Walt Brown, you'll have your eyes opened. And he explains in detail all the Earth's phenomenon, every speck of geology you've ever seen on planet Earth, including the mountains and the Grand Canyon and everything. It's the best book you've ever read outside the Bible because it heals your understanding of what the pre-flood world was like compared to what we have now. There was far less water on this planet. There was far more unity, if you will. There was far more oxygen in the air. Things were far more lush. There was far more greenery. There's a host of things you can make a list of. There was no rain. Have you ever been depressed when it's rainy for too long or when the skies are always gray? Well, back in the Garden of Eden, there was no rain. There were no clouds. So now you know why you're sad when it rains too much or when there's not enough sunshine. You're getting sad because that's not the way it was. Clouds above and rain are the consequence of man's sin. Well, if you understand that about the history of the universe and understand that about God, that He created perfection, it's like it's just healing, okay? And then, same with the moon. It was a perfect white snowball. There were no craters on the moon. It was perfect. Those craters are there as a reminder of the rocks that happened as a result of man's sin. And you're just like, whoa, this is serious. So there you go, shooting star. Epic. And then I promised we were going to get on the board these other phrases: full moon, crescent moon, half moon. Crescent moon is 12 times 12. I want to leave Elijah and Elisha kind of visible because that's an epic one. And so while I was delivering papers in the dark this morning, crescent moon, there was a beautiful crescent moon. Crescent moon equals 12 times 12, 144. Both words divide by 3, obviously. It's really cool because crescent is 87 and moon is 57. Well, this is 15 points higher than 72, and this is 15 points less than 72. 72 being very famous because it's a triple of triple eights. And so when you put this obvious pair together of crescent and moon, you get a double of 72 perfectly, 144, 12 times 12. Obvious foreordained pair. And then can you find love in a crescent moon? And full moon is my personal favorite for finding love because it's perfectly 4 pairs of letters that equals love plus love. It's one of my favorite examples to show off that God has hidden love in all the words and phrases of history, because you've got an L-O, double, the first 2 letters of love, and then you've got an F and a U to make 27, and an M and an M to make 27. So you've got 4 27s in full moon to perfectly make the double love. It's too obvious. It's my favorite example to show off how God has hidden love mathematically in all the words and phrases and names of world history. So now let's find love in crescent moon. And then a couple other famous moons are, of course, the new moon, new 42, moon 57, that adds to 99, an obvious 3 fest. And then a half moon, when it's at its halfway point, half divides by 3. In fact, half equals 27, half a love, So half moon divides by 3 as well equals 84. So all these famous phases of the moon divide by 3 every word to the glory of the Trinity. A full moon, a crescent moon, a half moon, a new moon. A new moon, of course, being when we don't see the moon at all. It's basically just a dark circle that we can just barely make out with our eyes. So all the famous 4 phases of the moon divide by 3. And then I love the fact that full moon is love plus love perfectly. And no one can argue with the fact that the full moon is the most romantic thing in the sky on a clear night. And that's the way Adam and Eve saw it too. But when Adam and Eve saw the full moon, it was perfectly white. Perfectly snowball white. No craters. There was no man in the moon back in the pre-flood earth. It was a perfect white snowball. Perfectly white. Just perfect. Just like the sun, if you will. Only it was glowing, not beaming. Beam and glow both divide by 3, by the way, the words. So a glowing moon. Look at how the word glow parallels the word moon. The center letters divide by 3, and the bookends make a multiple of 3. That's identical to the word moon. It's like, if there's one thing that in nature that we classify as glowing, it's the moon. Well, look at the word glow compared to the word moon. 2 center letters divide by 3, 12 and 15, 15 and 15. M and N make 27, G and W make 3 points higher, 30. So it's too perfect. Glow equals moon. The L goes down 3 points from this O. This G and this W go 3 points higher from the M and the N. Glow equals moon, equals 57, a triple of the 8th prime, triple 8. By divine ordinance, glow equals moon. Moon glow. Like, and then if you say moon glow like that, the N gets together with the G to make 15 to the dead center, so now you've got 15, 15, 15 in a row, then 12, 15, and then the M and the N make 36, the bookends. Just write that side by side. Moon glow. It's a pleasure to say on your lips, moon glow. It's very romantic, it's very poetic, but it's mathematically gorgeous. There's your letters that divide by 3. Here's your center chain links that make another 15, and then the M and the W wrap this whole thing up to make 36. Moon equals glow. 57 plus 57. 57 is a triple of the 8th prime. Triple of 19. So literally you just write 888 for both moon and glow. The glory of Jesus equals 888. Moon glow. Say it right now, you'll get happy. Moon glow. Moon glow. And you'll just want to get romantic and you just want to take more walks by moonlight. In silence. Listening for the voice of God. He might ordain you to see a shooting star and give you this revelation that I got this morning. Walk in silence, often, and wait for the voice of God. That's the definition of waiting on Jehovah. You, in silence, waiting, and He'll speak when He wants to speak. That's too awesome. And then you can push yourself higher by saying the glow of the moon, or the glowing moon. All that divides by 3. Okay, so now find love in a crescent moon, a glowing moon. Isn't that awesome though? But then go back in time a little bit to Adam and Eve. When they saw the glowing moon, it was perfectly white. And because there was less extraneous light and less pollution back then in the Garden of Eden, when they looked up and saw the full moon, it was bright, glowing white. Like it was a perfectly bright snowball in the sky. And of course they saw more stars than any of us has ever seen in our lives because they had no extraneous lights, they had less pollution. When there was a new moon for them, they probably saw millions of stars. Like the closest thing you would get to on planet Earth today would be somewhere in the Sahara Desert probably. But even then there's probably been some disruption in the Earth's atmosphere, so there's less clarity between us and the stars that they had back in the pre-flood world. So you talk about romance. Like it's important for us to see Eden for what it was originally like, because that will help us to understand the true, incredibly perfect and romantic nature of God. So that we are that much more excited about heaven. The more you can see of God's perfection in the past, in the pre-flood world, and in Eden, the more you have great excitement and delight looking forward to the heaven that we're going to, that He has created, that's untouchable. Um, okay. So it gives you power and understanding. The more truth you know about what has happened and why it happened and what it used to be like, knowledge actually is power. Like the more you know of the truth of this story, the more it gives you power to live righteously and wisely for the eternity that is coming. Okay, so moon glow. That's awesome. Moon glow. Man, I've always loved the moon. I've always loved the moon. Just seeing that perfect circle in the sky. By the way, silver plus gold divides by 3. Moon and sun both divide by 3, differing by 3. Sun equals love. Moon is 3 points higher. Sun plus moon equals 111 perfectly, 111. And 111 in text divides by 3. But then silver plus gold equals 1, 2, 3. So the obvious combination, silver moon plus gold sun divides by 3 stunningly. And it adds to 234. 234. Very obvious for 3. And 234 is a very special number because it's a combination of loves, 54s, plus 24s, triple eights. Stacks of love plus stacks of triple eight to get that number 234. You can do it in a variety of ways. I believe the coolest way you can do it is triple love plus triple 24. Let me just check my numbers here. No, something. Yeah, that's a revelation. So watch this. I'm going to write something on the board that's very epic. In my opinion, it's more epic than E equals MC squared. At the top here. At the top in the center. Watch this. This is an official equation that is dead true. And everyone can do the math. Watch this. So we'll put the sun first. Gold sun plus silver moon silver moon equals love plus love plus love plus triple eight plus triple eight plus triple eight. Love equals 54, triple eight is 24. And that number is, of course, 234. But I'm telling you how that number breaks down to glorify the Trinity, who is love, and Jesus equals 888 in Greek. And God has been revealing to us these stacks of love, multiples of numbers that are multiples of love and or half a love, plus multiples of 24, triple eight. And this is a very obvious one. So, in the sky, like two of the most glorious things in the heavens, you've got your gold sun and your silver moon. Remember, sun plus moon equals 111, 111. Gold plus silver equals 1, 2, 3. It's all for the Trinity. So now it's all together. A gold sun plus a silver moon equals 234, but the best part is it's a triple of love, a triple of 54s, 162, plus a triple of 24s to give you 234 perfectly. So that's the perfection of this. So gold sun plus silver moon equals love plus love plus love plus triple eight plus triple eight plus triple eight. 54 plus 54 plus 54 plus 24 plus 24 plus 24. And you can find all of those components. So let's find them. It won't take us long. We're here right now. Let's find the 3 loves, and then we'll have the triple eights left over. Let's shoot for 27s, okay, to build the loves. We need to find 6 of them. There's MN number 1. Here's, let's just capture the word love. Here I see the word love right now, letter for letter. Grab these from silver, grab these from moon, we already have love. Now we have love number 1, composed of the letters of love. And then we have an MN, that's half a love, and then we have an IR, another half a love. So between the letters of silver and moon already, we've captured 2 loves composed of pure 27s in very obvious fashion. Like the fact that we spell the letters love from silver moon. Like the letters of love were just sitting there. And then you got a bonus IR and MN, 9 plus 18, 13 plus 14 to make the other 2 27s. We're basically there. Well, sun equals love. So let's just be, right there. We've already done it. Amazing. And I love the fact that you've got a pair of LOs in this context. So you've got two LOs. It's like the full moon one, first two letters of love. So we found our 3 loves. So the rest is equal to 24 plus 24 plus 24. Now, I'm sure you can do it multiple ways where you actually find these individual 24s as well, but that's just a good start and good introduction to it right there. So, 30 plus 57. I just feel like there might be, wait a second. 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 1. Love number 1 captured, love number 2 captured, love number 3 captured. I just want to, oh, and then there's an O left over here, right, that's what I was missing. So then you've got 42 plus, yeah, that's correct. So all the rest of these letters, the O, the S, and those guys in there add to 72, which is our triple of triple eights, a triple of 24s. And if you rearrange this and search for the 24s and piece it all apart, I'm sure you can find the individual components. We were shooting de facto for 27s. So that's a huge find. Gold sun plus silver moon equals love plus love plus love plus triple eight plus triple eight plus triple eight. To the glory of the Triune God who is love and Jesus equals it. Can you see that okay? Yeah, that's perfect. Wonderful. Okay, so let's finish finding love in a crescent moon, because that's what I saw tonight. Gorgeous crescent moon, about 1/4 bright. So it goes, let's find, you can find 2 loves in it. I can't resist the STO at the center of history, and we found 2 of them in shooting star. We've got that in crescent moon. Okay, we've got an O here, we've got a T here, we've got an S here. So we've already found 1 love, and then you've got a half a love there. Can you get a 12 out of that? Interesting. Let's see, what do we want to do? 9, N. Let's see, 24 plus a 30, we could go. I want to find 2 loves, and then we have an extra 36. So if we remove a 36, the rest is, okay. Well, if we pull off this C, R, and E and C, that's really cool, because they're kind of clustered together. Then these letters left over will equal love. Just let me double check that. 18. Oh, no, wait. That's not quite 18. I need a second 18 there. Here we go. Pop off the R and an M and an E. Kind of space them out. So an R, an M, and an E, pop off that 36, and the others left over equal love. So if I switch to blue, so we've got love number 1. It's love plus 36. So let's go, there's 1 love in orange. Switch to blue. It's just going to be these letters left over, C, E, N, O, N. And what do we have there? 20, 33. I just want to see if that breaks into, you got 24. Yeah, that breaks into a pair of 27s. Ah, that's very cool, in fact. That's insanely cool. Because you've got a double of them. You've got 2 C's, 2 E's, and 2 N's. Whoa! That's amazing. What is going on there? So that's 24 plus 3 is 27. O plus the O. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. 24, 27, and then a C. Am I missing something here? Wait, no, I took this E. I beg your pardon. That E is on the other team. So you've got a 27, or no, so you've got a 33 plus a 3. Yeah, okay. So team blue equals love number 2. And then you've got 36 left over from the R and the E and N. So crescent moon, love plus 36. threes. Okay, so we found love in the crescent moon. New moon, 36 plus, or you can go 33 plus, there's Jehovah. That's cool. The letters that don't divide by 3 in new moon equal Jehovah perfectly, 69. That's pretty obvious. 42. But how to get to W? 42. Can you find a perfect 54 in the letters new moon? You have to pop off 45. I don't know if you can. 36 plus 18. I don't know if you can. 27. I don't know that you can. I don't think so. And then half moon. Half moon, you just pop off the 2 O's in the center of moon, and you've got your love left over. And that's cool because you got a 27 here from the MN, and then half equals 27. That's really obvious. So in a half moon, the finding of love is really simple because half equals half a love, and the MN flanking the 2 O's is another half a love. 27 plus 27 and the 2 O's in the moon. But new moon, I don't think you can get to 54 exactly. I don't think so. Okay, that's fine. Very cool. So then you can add all these together, and get combinations. Like put crescent moon together with half moon, like the 2 ones that are the incomplete versions of the moon, like when it's at crescent or it's at half. It's not like 100% one in the way or the other. That's an obvious combination because this is 144 plus 84. Both all factor 8 numbers. That's going to push you up to 228, which is also an all factor 8 number. That's cool. That's my full birth name actually, crescent moon plus half moon. And you can go higher, full moon, that'll push you up to 336. And then you can go up to 435, 435 with all of them stacked together. Okay. That's cool. Moon equals glow. Moon glow. Moon glow. I moon glow. Cool. Then you have a moonlit night. I love how we just get more words as we just keep sharing all this stuff. Let's put that down here. Moonlit night. You know, famous words. A moonlit night. Well, this is how this works. You've got TNT, and that equals love. TNT equals love. And then all these letters divide by 3, these divide by 3, and then you got the pairwise 3s that knit together to make a pair of 21s. That's really obvious. This is so cool. LI makes 21. NG makes 21. MH makes 21. 3 21s, these guys all divide by 3. And then TNT, you know, which are very much bookend letters. TNT, moonlit night. Moonlit night. Can you find love in a moonlit night? Of course you can. You can feel the TNT on your lips. That's love number 1. And you got all these 21s in here. The grand total is 63. 93 is 102 plus love is 156. That's very famous. 156 is very king for 3. 12 times 13. And so technically you can find 2 loves in there. Pretty easy. There's the TNT, the first one. And then an M and an N is 27. And then an O and an L is another 27. And then amazingly, you've got a pair of 24 888s left over. Amazing. Glory to God. Yeah, look at this. So moonlit night, we're going to have another similar equation to this one. Gold sun plus silver moon is love plus love plus love plus 24 plus 24 plus 24. Well, a moonlit night is love plus 24 plus 24. That's amazing. And you find all those components. So the love plus love is TNT, that's love number 1. And then MN LO, 27 plus 27, that's love number 2. And then you have an IO left over, which is 24. And you have an IGH left over, which is also 24, triple eight. So we can perfectly write this. Moonlit night equals love plus triple eight plus triple eight. To the glory of the Triune God who is love. Exactly perfectly. Love equals 54, and we found the components, we found the 27s, just like we did up here. Okay? So, moonlit night equals love plus 24 plus 24. Love plus triple eight plus love plus triple eight. 2 loves plus 2 triple eights in moonlit night. Gold sun plus silver moon is 3 loves plus 3 triple eights. That is divine. And we found all the components. That's amazing. So can you find love in a moonlit night? Yeah, we just did. Can you find love in the gold sun plus the silver moon? Yeah, we just did. Plus triple eights to the glory of Jesus equals 8. That's amazing. And we've been paying attention to that formula everywhere it occurs. It's just been too frequent, it's just been too obvious and too awesome. Multiples of love, 54, plus multiples of triple eight, 24, combined in individual phrases and words and names. Yeah, so that's a very expensive revelation, that moonlit night equals love plus triple eight plus triple eight. And that's the first time I'm seeing this. This is all live. This is the first time I've solved that and seen that in my life. Same with this one. This is a really stacked video here. Cool. Ooh, a starry night. A starry night. That divides by 3 as well. Let's just erase Dr. James Dobson here, who equals focus on the family. Both equal 8 times triple eight. So let's get a starry night on the board, and this is how I see this one knitting together already in my mind. For number 3, a starry night. Starry night. I know that ST divides by 3, and then I put this A together with this N to make 15. Aha, that's the famous 39 plus 15 already equals love at the center of history, the famous STO. 39 plus 15 is already right there at the beginning. There's love already found in a starry night. And then this Y gets married with this T to make 45 on the end. These two both divide by 3. This guy divides by 3, and we still have our pair of 15s right there. Well, love number 2, you add 9, this I can join this team here, and now we have 2 loves in starry night. We've already found 2 loves in starry night. And then now we have 15 plus 36 left over, which is 3 points short of a third love. So that's really kingly for 3. You've got love plus 3 points short of a third love. It's all 3s. But amazingly, this number 51 is explicitly half a love plus 24 triple eight. So that's the glory. So this is love plus half a love plus triple eight. So again, that's what we always find. We find multiples of loves and or half loves plus 24 is triple eight. So starry night, so moonlit night is love plus triple eight plus triple eight. Starry night is love plus half a love plus triple eight. So peradventure, we can find that 24 triple eight to pull out of the whole set. Well, it's sitting right at the center of night. There's your triple eight right at the center of night. So let's just rearrange the other teams. So there's your triple eight right there. The 3 center letters of night. And then, let's see. But now you want to try and crack out a 27, which I don't exactly see being feasible in that way. Is there another way to get the 24? Well, you could go A and I. Then what would that leave you with? Well, the GH would still go together with the ST. What's cool about that is you get a pair of 27s. So if we chose AIN for a 24, then you can go SH 27, TG 27. So you've built love number 1 out of 2 27s, which is always bonus points. And then the rest is simply 18 plus 18 plus 45 multiples of 9 to make your final love plus half love. What does all that come to? 135 plus 159. But it's the components that make it extra special. Love plus half love plus triple eight in a starry night. So we just saw the moonlit night, we saw the starry night. So, and of course back in Eden, in the pre-flood world, in fact, everything up until the flood of Noah, it was always a starry night, and it was always a moonlit night, as far as there may have been a new moon or non-new moon, and because there were no clouds. There were no clouds in the pre-flood world. So every time you went outside at night, you saw the stars. Every single night. Once you know that that's the way it was like in the pre-flood world, and remember, when God wanted to inspire faith in his people, like Abraham, for example, he said to him, come outside. And he said, look at the stars. And he said, so shall your descendants be. It's just another reminder that everyone in the pre-flood world always saw an abundance of stars every single night. And it inspired them to worship God and be reminded of his incredible power and love and ability to do anything. I just think it would be a point of great reward for us to see many stars at night in whatever ways we can. If we have to journey into the wilderness, if we have to get away from city light, if we have to go camping a little more often, that's what they saw every single night in the pre-flood world. An abundance of stars. There were no clouds. There were no clouds in Eden, and there was no pollution, and there was no city lights, and no extraneous electric lights to hide the stars. So every single night was a starry night, and every single night was a moonlit night, if the moon was glowing. Cool. And of course the word romantic divides by 3. Really easily. MN, half a love. RI, half a love. AT, 21. OC, 18. Romantic is loaded with love. Just like the word romance divides by 3, so romance divides by 3, romantic divides by 3, so Jehovah divides by 3, just put them all together. Starry night, what else? And then glowing moon adds to 144 perfectly, 12 times 12. Glowing moon. So crescent moon, so glowing equals crescent. Wow, that's cool. So crescent equals 87, glowing equals 87, because ing adds 30 points to the 57. So a glowing moon equals 144, 12 times 12. A crescent moon equals the same number. So then you can just say a glowing crescent moon. That adds to my favorite number of world history, 201. Let's get that on the board. Because that's literally what I saw this morning. Glowing crescent moon equals 201. And 201 boils directly down to triple eight by the law of prime, okay? It's a triple of 67s, which equals water. And 67 is the 19th prime, and 19 is in turn the 8th prime. 201 is also a 3-digit all-factor 8 number. 2 and 1 are factors of 8. That glorifies Jesus equals 8 at 8. But it boils directly down to triple eight by the law of prime. It's 67 times 3, and 67 is the 19th prime, and 19 in turn is the 8th prime. So triple eight by deduction. The famous 201 of world history, which is of course the full birth name of the first man on the moon, Neil Alden Armstrong. So Neil Alden Armstrong equals glowing crescent moon to the glory of Jesus equals 8 at 8. Done. Solved. We just solved the most beautiful thing in the sky at night, a glowing crescent moon, arguably, or a glowing full moon. What would a glowing full moon then add to? Well, you'd add 87 on top of 108. That would push you up to 195 divided by 3. Add the word the at any point. Glowing crescent moon, 201. That's what I saw this morning. And of course what's cool about that phrase is that glow at the beginning, first 4 letters at the very beginning, equals the 4 letters at the end. Glow equals moon. It's too obvious. A glowing crescent moon. And I like the word beam for sun, like a sunbeam we say. There's even childcare nurseries called Sunbeam Nursery. Beam, a sunbeam, a moon glow. You can say moonbeam as well. Beam is 21 with bookends. Just four. It's 4 letters, just like glow and just like moon. That have the bookends, make a multiple of 3, and center letters make a multiple of 3. You've got 20. It's 21 in total. So a moonbeam equals 78 equals God plus God plus God equals love plus AAA. Moonbeam. That's so cool. Moonbeam, and then sunbeam would be 75. But look at moonbeam. Look at a moonbeam. A moonbeam. The exact same phenomenon as moon glow. Center letters, like, and you can stack them on top of each other, the M and the B and together, the N and N. But moonbeam, literally, equals love plus AAA. So we're seeing all these stacks of love plus AAA, like 54 plus AAA. So let's write this equation now. Moonbeam equals 78, which is love plus AAA, 54 plus 24. So just kind of review all these love plus AAAs that we've already found. Gold sun plus silver moon, love plus love plus love plus AAA plus AAA plus AAA. Moonlit night, love plus AAA plus AAA. Starry night, love plus half love plus AAA. Moonbeam, love plus AAA, perfectly, right on the nose. And so now let's find the love plus AAA in moonbeam. Well, if you just pop off 24 points there, can it be done? 13, 11 points. It might be, I don't know if you can it be done? 24, that's 8, there's 21. I wonder, 15, 9? I don't know if you can crack it all, if you can pull off the 24.